Okay. So we will call the Tuesday, October 31st Board of Commissioners meeting to order at 10 o'clock. Those who are able, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, now's the time for any public comment for items not appearing on today's agenda. Looks like most of the crowd is either speaking or works for another elected official. So we'll move on then to additions to the agenda. Any additions to the agenda from either commissioners? No?
None.
All right, move on to the meeting minutes. Do we need to make any changes to the minutes?
None that I'm aware.
All right, we'll take a motion then.
I will move to approve the minutes from the meetings held October 18th and 24th.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the meetings held on October 18th and October 24th. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We'll move on to our proclamation, which is number 46, proclaiming November as Military Appreciation Month in Center County. And we have our department head of Veterans Affairs, Brian Query, and also Eugene McFeely from the Penn State Veterans Department here. Why don't the two of you come on up and say a few things about how important Military Appreciation Month is.
Well, good morning and thank you for the proclamation today, but there's a lot going on this year with military appreciation in Center County and in particular in the borough. So Penn State and the borough are partnering again this year for military appreciation, and our theme this year is the military family. So while our military families don't wear the uniform, they certainly serve alongside our service members and make a lot of sacrifices along the way. So we're going to kick off, at least down in State College area, on the 3rd of November with the unveiling of our banners locally, just like you all do up here in Bellefonte. And once we do that, we have a military-themed movie. It's going to be Top Gun Maverick if you're a fan of aviation, but come dressed as your favorite Top Gun character for that. And we'll have a series of week-long events, concluding with the Veterans Day ceremony on Old Ming Lawn at 11:11. And then also, just if you are interested, if you go to militaryappreciation.psu.edu, that's where all the events are listed throughout the week. All are welcome through Center County.
Appreciate always working with you, and I've attended the Military Corps honor ceremony at Penn State, always very moving. Brian?
Just a couple of things here. Reminder to everyone, the Bellefonte, we're usually in front of the courthouse, but this year, because of the construction and stuff, will be down at Talleyrand Park at the gazebo there. Still at 11:11 at 11 a.m., but it'll be down by the gazebo in Talleyrand Park. Also, the courthouse will be lit up with the green light in honor of our veterans, I think through the 5th to the 12th of this month. So that'll be happening to the work of our maintenance people, be setting that up for us with them. Just a final thing, I work with vets and everything on this one. We do, the PACT Act is still out there. Obviously, there was a big push before August. Yes, that date ended, but you can still put claims in. So for those vets, Vietnam vets that maybe have high blood pressure and a few other things that they haven't claimed that, we want to do those kind of claims for them, contact my office. And for those vets that were in the Middle East, Afghanistan, surrounded by the burn pits, pretty much they got any respiratory issues or any cancer associated with that, they can put a claim in. So for those that haven't contacted us, they can contact my office at 814-355-6812, and we can see if we can help them out.
Give them the number again, Brian, just in case they're grabbing for their pen.
814-355-6812. That's the number to my office.
Great. Thank you very much, Brian. Your office does a great job and usually has some of the best statistics in the entire state for how much you help veterans and how much additional monies you recover for them from the military service. I noticed Zach Moore from Penn State just came in. Is there anything you wanted to add, Zach? No? All right. Good. Well, I will turn it over to Commissioner Concepcion for some remarks.
Thank you so much for being here. I think, with Veterans Day coming up, it's such an important time for everyone in our community to reflect on the sacrifices that have been made by our veterans. And for those who have these ongoing health impacts from their service, it's an ongoing sacrifice. So we really appreciate you bringing these topics to light and giving us the opportunity to express appreciation for our veterans.
Commissioner Dershowitz.
Well, again, thank you for coming in. I think throughout the county, we have a long, rich history of military service, and we probably have, how many veterans in Center County, Brian? That you're aware of.
It varies. Right now, I believe we're around a little over 8,000, about 8,000. We have about 8,000 veterans. We do have a couple thousand of surviving spouses of veterans. They can be eligible for some events too, especially the wartime era veterans. Interestingly, the World War II vets were dwindling really low on them because you got to remember they're 90 plus years. I think we're probably less than 100 of those vets in the county left for those vets. So.
I just think it demonstrates that we have a large population of veterans and their families that reside here in Center County, and the work that Penn State, the outreach that you folks have done, the outreach that the county Veterans Affairs Office has done, and of course the federal folks. We have a very great clinic up in College Township that provides services. So just a huge shout out to all service members, past, present, and let's throw the future in there too, because we do have a volunteer force that provide the safety and security that we all enjoy. So thank you for everything you do, and I look forward to seeing some of your events throughout the month of November. But again, 11/11 at 11, there's always a very sacred ceremony in downtown Bellefonte that is worth
And
attending.
this year will be at Talleyrand Park.
Yes,
different.
Talleyrand Park. You'll be able to find us fairly easily. That's great. Well, again, thank you, and thanks for coming in. Zach, thank you, and the administration at Penn State support for all the things you do in the veterans organizations as well.
Yeah. So, again, apologize for being late. I was in another meeting that ran late. Thank you for the thank you. Penn State does a lot of interesting things in the community, and we get some praise occasionally, and we get some criticism occasionally, and we understand that and appreciate that. In my mind, this is the best of Penn State. This is about the best that we can do, and I'm so proud to be associated with this event. I'm so proud to work with Eugene on this. He has just done an amazing job of kind of ramping this up to the level that it is, and military appreciation is part of we're building it into the culture of Penn State over the last decade or so, and it's a really important part of who we are and what we do. And I'm so happy to be able to be here with Eugene, and just thank you for taking a few minutes out of your busy time to acknowledge that. So thank you.
Don't sell yourself short, because we've had a very long and strong relationship with Penn State here at the county, and I can't tell you how much that means to us and what value that provides to the citizens of our county. I think later in the agenda, for instance, there's going to be we're going to be demonstrating what that relationship means by purchasing a few vehicles out of your fleet. So I mean, it goes far and deep, and so we're very proud to support the efforts of Penn State, and certainly appreciate all the things that you do for all the residents of Center County, not just the ones that are under your care and custody, if you will. So,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thanks, Zach. Center County has a long history of volunteering for the military, dating back to the War of 1812, which was the first war after the founding of Center County in 1800. We have a great Soldiers and Sailors Memorial in front of the courthouse that lists many Center County citizens who volunteered for the military, and some paying the ultimate price, including the Colored Troops Regiment from the Civil War. Would like to appreciate Penn State for being one of the highest ranked universities for ROTC and for veterans. I believe World Campus was in the top couple nationally recently for its ability to be flexible and work with the military, especially the active duty. And we also, of course, want to appreciate the military families. There's a lot of sacrifice from the families involved with one of their members serving all over the world, often in very dangerous situations. So thank you very much for coming. Unless there's any other comments, I think we could take a motion.
I will move to adopt Proclamation 46 of 2023, proclaiming November 2023 as Military Appreciation Month in Center County.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of adopting proclamation number 46, proclaiming November as Military Appreciation Month in Center County, do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. All right, and now that the motion is carried, come on up and we'll present the proclamation.
We can make a proper fuss of you.
Yes.
Zach, good to see you.
So maybe Eugene, if you'd stand on my side, or Zach, whichever, stand on my side of Bellefonte. There we go. No, you can fill in. You can
I'm in
fill
here.
in. We just like to have the guests sort of centered on Bellefonte.
Oh, thank you.
Got us, Harry? Thank you. Thank you. It's great to see you again, Eugene.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Take care. Pleasure. Ryan, as always.
Here.
Thanks, Amber. Well, we have a action-packed agenda today. Now we move on to resolutions. Resolution number 21 is a resolution where the commissioners are supporting a local share account statewide grant request for our Center County Public Safety Training Center for the education building we've mentioned a couple of times in the past. And we have Mark Keller, who runs the Center County Public Safety Training Center here, and I think Todd Taylor from CPI as well. So if the two of you would come up, if you want, maybe sit over in the seats so that the press can get a little better angle. Just try not to touch any cords.
I think you're all right. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Mark.
Wow, there's a rendering.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
An aerial
Nice.
view rendering.
yes.
Tell you have all the toys up.
Kind of like you had a virtual drone.
So, yes. So what I just passed out to you is a little bit of information about the training site, some statistics over the last 5 years and the usage, and the conceptual drawings of the education building that we would like to build. I'd just like to highlight on a couple things. In the last 5 years, we've added a couple different props. We've added a confined space prop. We've added a hazardous materials area that is dedicated to just hazardous material training. And of course, we added the fire station in 2018-19 year. But over the course of from 2018 until now, we have seen an increase in law enforcement, emergency medical services, and firefighting students come in through. We're servicing right now, between fire and EMS, we're servicing roughly about 18 counties. The law enforcement, we're servicing all of Center County law enforcement, also the county tactical team, and some of the task force assets as well. Altoona Police Department is also involved with the assets, and they come down and they use the facility. On the last page, our impact by year, we have grown from 2018 with 2020 being an exception due to COVID. We've grown from roughly 50 classes to, in 2022, 130 classes. And I'm seeing that growth go for 2023, we're going to be upwards close to 225 different classes that we've run. And that's not just fire, that's also EMS. If you take a look at the renderings You'll see the building, some conceptual drawings of what the building would look like and how it would be placed at the training center. It will be placed behind the pavilion, close to the drill grounds. It would be a good focal point for people as they're coming in. They'll be able to see where the offices are, where the classrooms are, and where to report, how to report.
Those at home.
Yeah.
Here's one view. Nice touch that the leaves are fall colored. I like that. And make sure on your way out that you give
Yes,
our two
I
press
have extras.
representatives some extras so that they can maybe get a little higher quality shot. This is the virtual drone shot from above.
Yep. The proposed building would have 5 classrooms. The classrooms would have accordion walls separating them so that we could open them up into larger lecture halls to have speakers in, that kind of thing. There will be a shower locker room area for both male and female. There will be a room. It's labeled instructor room here, but I'm calling it more like the hands-on law enforcement room for right now. It would have like a wrestling mat floor in for them to be able to do the self-defense and things like that. My office, my assistant's office would be in there. We're looking at adding a computer lab so that we can eventually open up a Pearson VUE test site, which is very much needed in the area. EMS students have to go to a Pearson VUE test site to be able to take their certification testing, so it would be a great asset for us. There will be a garage on the end of it. That garage would be used to house our pickup truck, our forklift, the things that we use the most down at the drill grounds, but it could also be used as a place to back an ambulance in and be able to practice loading and unloading patients into the ambulance, especially because most of our EMT classes run this time of the year to May. It's cold. They can be inside doing some of that type of thing as well. That's our goal for this project, and we're hoping to make it become a realization soon. So.
And I like the detailed schematic here in the very last page that shows one set of 3 classrooms and another set of the 2 classrooms.
Yes.
So they have multiple size rooms available.
Yes.
And I know CPI runs the facility, and you have that parking lot there that's half the size of a mall. So plenty of space.
Yep.
For people to come visit the facility. Great charts. It did look like you've almost tripled some of the classes you've been offering just in the past 4 or 5 years.
Yes, we have. We've done that, and a large majority of those classes are done here in Center County for Center County fire departments. And the best thing about that is we're offering the Center County fire departments free training. So
Yeah.
we're able to do that and continue to do that. And this building will be a large help in that, with the future of that, and future growth, future expansion. There's a lot of things that can come good out of this.
Sure, and there's also, I think, a tourism and economic development angle where you could bring in regional speakers or larger classes than in the past, because you have the physical space, and so maybe people from 2 or 3 counties out would come here because it's more convenient, and then they might stay in hotel rooms and
Yeah.
go out to restaurants and whatnot.
Yep. Definitely our area lends to being able to have that, have the regional and national speakers come in, because people want to come here. People want to come to Center County. They want to see Beaver Stadium. They want to see the university and other things. And this would be, with having this being in Center County, that's going to be a big drawing card and hopefully promote a lot of tourism and that sort of thing.
Now, Todd, was there anything you wanted to add? I know Mark's had a lot of great information for us.
Not a whole lot. I'd just like to stress the partnership between CPI and Center County has been long-standing. I can't think of a better partnership in the state between a career and tech center and our county government. So it's been longstanding and strong. The offer of free training to our first responders, we've held to that for many, many years. I plan to keep doing that, and that's because of the strength of our partnership with Center County, and I think it's good for everybody involved. So again, thank you for your support for now and for many, just such a great partnership we've had. So thank you very much.
Thanks. We'll go to Commissioner Concepcion. I know Commissioner Dershowitz has some stuff to say because you were there from the beginning. But
Yeah.
Commissioner Concepcion.
Yes, thanks for coming. I think this is really one of our key priorities going into 2024 is making sure that we're doing everything we can to secure the funding for this and continue moving on with design development so that we can make this a reality. I think everyone in the region needs to, when looking at like why do we need this, needs to understand we are facing a critical need for volunteer firefighters, for people who would to be willing to do the EMS training, because we've had sort of a demographic cliff here. We've got a lot of people from in older generations who have volunteered and have given their time in these emergency responder roles, but now we really need to educate oncoming generations so that they're able to do this work as well. And I think this education center is really going to be like the linchpin to all of that, to be able to not only bring people in from other counties, but to ensure that right here in Center County that our emergency responders have easy access to the training that they need to keep all of us safe. So, and I appreciate that it's not only fire and EMS, that all of our local law enforcement in Center County is able to use this space. I think that's just, adds to the public safety of all of us. So really appreciate it. And we're going to just keep talking with our legislators. We've gotten really good support from all of the legislators who represent Center County in terms of understanding the importance of this project. So we're hopeful that we'll be able to put together a few different grants to make this a reality.
Thanks, Amber. Commissioner Dershowitz.
I think it goes without saying, not only do we have a great relationship with CPI, but our legislator, we have Cindy from Congressman Thompson's office and Julie from Senator Langerholt's office, but it demonstrates a much bigger collaboration that we have, not just here in Center County, but it's not just the emergency service as well. It's also local industry that uses it to keep their folks safe. So this is going to be something that takes this site to the next level as far as training ability, and I think we're all excited to see where that goes. Obviously, this grant is not going to cover all of it, but it'll knock a pretty good hole in it, and we can use other opportunities to continue to fund. But I think it's a critical need, and as Amber indicated, we have the opportunity now to make sure we have training for the folks not only inside and outside of Center County, but across the region, making sure that we have trained volunteers and professionals that keep us safe. And that's really, I think it goes back to a lot of other conversations we have about making sure that we have the best and most useful training available. And most counties can't say that. And I think, Mark, under your leadership and Todd, under your leadership, that's really been highlighted, and we want to thank you for that. So, and CPI, again, it's just been a great partnership. I would agree.
Thank you.
And that proximity to CPI is so critical, that your students are able to come down and use the training center on a regular basis, so that we've got, 17, 18-year-old kids who are now, in a position to go into this kind of public service is really
Our future first
fantastic.
responders. So it's really good to see.
Yep.
Before I forget, the county does have 6 scholarships of $2,500 each for 18, 19, or even 30-year-olds who want to volunteer for any one of our emergency responding organizations here in Center County. And that's good for any class of any kind at CPI or South Hills or even the Central Pennsylvania Phlebotomy Institute. Now, Mark, you're a subject matter expert. Kind of boil it down here. How much training does it take to get, say, firefighter 1 and firefighter 2 so that you can be fully qualified as just a volunteer firefighter?
Just to be qualified to ride a fire truck, you have to have 168 hours of training at the beginning. And that would allow you to take your firefighter 1 certification. To be a firefighter 2 certified, you're looking at an additional 60 hours for that certification. And there's many other certifications that require a lot of hours of training also to be able to be credentialed. So there's a lot of training that happens. There's fire departments are always looking for places for their people to go, and we are very pleased to be able to have that.
So that's more than 5 weeks of training required before you can
Yes.
really be an effective
Yes.
firefighter. That's,
Right.
That's a huge commitment.
And I know we talked about the military families, but the first responders families give up a lot as well. So yes, there's that 5 weeks of training doesn't sound like a lot in the grand scheme of things, but when you're trying to balance a job, full-time job, and a home life, and maybe 2 or 3 kids, and going to soccer games and all that, it becomes a lot, and it really is. And you know, when I did mine back in the day, I think my entry level training was only 48 hours. So that tells you how much the service has changed. We see new things every day in the field, and right now I can tell you one of the biggest things that we're seeing new is the lithium batteries in cars. And we're still learning how to put out those kinds of fires. So that's something that's going to be changing. But
It doesn't happen often, but when it does, they're hard to put out.
yeah, they are.
I want to take a moment and thank you, because I know your leadership out at CPI has been extraordinary, but I also know when you want to talk about putting the hours in, you're out there literally all week and then weekends, and you do an amazing job, and you've shown some incredible dedication to making sure that our emergency services are very well trained, and that's an extraordinary, to your credit, that's an extraordinary achievement. So thank you, and keep up the good work.
Thank you very much. And I would like to thank the Board of Commissioners on behalf of the first responders of Center County and surrounding areas for the support that you show for us. You guys, with the support that you give to the training center, it makes my job a little bit easier, and I appreciate it. So.
Gotcha.
We definitely want to make your job easier. I've worked closely with you now for 6 years, Mark. I know you're very modest, but you do an amazing job. We would not see a near tripling of the usage of the facility without your leadership.
Well, thank you. And like I said before, it takes a village, and I have a very good support unit that helps me with things, and if it wouldn't be for them, we wouldn't be as successful as what we are. So, but thank you very much.
You're welcome. Any questions from the press?
You mentioned computer lab. Is there more opportunities now for online training, or I imagine the priority is still hands-on?
There is opportunities for online training that is facilitated through the training agencies and also through the state. We haven't ventured into the online training world yet, but we're going to have to. That's something in the next 5 years we need to move forward with on that, because it's becoming more and more. We have experimented a little bit with EMT classes being partially online but partially in person, and that's the way I see some of these fire department classes going. Is going to be partially online, and then they'll come in to do their skills.
The Alphas recently posted a fire at a College Township home as their first frontline all-female crew. Are you seeing more, shall we say, diverse group of trainees coming through?
Oh my,
in the past 10 years?
Yeah, the diversity since I started as a State Fire Academy instructor in 2006, I've seen it grow tremendously, and that's a good thing. We probably see, I'm gonna guess, in our basic essentials classes, 20% of them are female. So, but that number's growing all the time.
And I know you said that you're working on gathering the funding in 2024. Do you have a target date or a target year when you want to try and start the construction yet?
Is tomorrow okay? We don't really have a target date yet, no. We want to get the funding in place, know that we have the funding in place. I've been working with the architecture firm, getting quotes and that kind of thing so that we can be accurate in what we're asking for and go from there. So I would say probably 2025 sometime.
And when you had the initial announcement, you said that the project was going to cost around 4.4 million. Is that still the ballpark?
We're still in the $4 to $5 million range, yes. Well, maybe. That's,
Everything seems to be costing a little more now.
yeah, with inflation and everything, I'm not sure where we're going to end up, but.
Thanks.
Great questions. Any more?
Thank you.
Thanks. All right, unless there's anything else on this topic, I think we could take a motion.
I will move to adopt Resolution 21 of 2023.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to adopt resolution number 21 of 2023, requesting a local shares account statewide grant for the education building at the Center County Public Safety Training Center. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay. Motion carries. Great. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks, Chief.
Yep, make sure press gets copies of
Yes,
these.
I'll lay them up here and they can grab them.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, he has
I got
several.
plenty.
All right, so now Diana from our planning department will come up. She covers agricultural land preservation, and she has a great map. Yeah, angle it towards the camera so the people at home can see it. We've done a lot of hard work here for a couple of decades now at the county to preserve our agricultural land, and I think Dana has a short presentation to.
I do want to introduce, though, I brought this map with me today. It's our newest version of this map,
Yes.
and you're welcome to have it if you'd like. We always called it our farmland preservation map, but now we're calling it Center County Preserved Land because we have some additions and improvements that were requested by you as commissioners. We added the 3 Patton Township preserved lands that were preserved for their stewardship program. And then we also improved the colors at your request.
Yes.
We've also added 3 easements that closed yesterday morning. And I want to commend Cynthia A. Barker of Potter Township and Donald W. Strickler of Walker Township and Larry, Suzanne, and Dawn Harpster of Ferguson Township. Larry, Suzanne, and Dawn together have preserved 2 farms. Larry and Suzanne have preserved 3 farms together. So they now join, we have 2 other families that have preserved 3 farms. And I just want to make a special shout out to the Harpsters because Larry said yesterday, I didn't think I would live long enough to see 1 farm preserved, much less 3. So we're really proud of them. And we're also thankful to Potter Township and Ferguson Township for their contributions to those easements. So
When I started 8 years ago on the board, I think we had roughly 42 preserved farms. I've been off for a couple of years now. Have we broken 60 yet?
we just, with yesterday's 3, we now have 63, and we will soon have 64.
Oh, 64.
Oh, thank you.
That's tremendous.
Yes, it is tremendous. So I appreciate you having me here today to just present briefly on this history project that we conducted of financing of PACE easements since the program started in 1991. We often get questions about how the funds that you as the commissioners certify each year are leveraged so that we can preserve as many farms as possible. So with this project, we wanted to show how the municipal contributions that we get figure in your annual certification of farmland preservation funds and how they help us preserve even more farms. So for 2023, we saw how a very large contribution from Half Moon Township resulted in a significantly higher state allocation for our program. To help illustrate how leveraging works, we sought to provide a historical view of funding for farmland preservation in the county. And there you can see the figures that each municipal partner has contributed or will contribute as of this year. So our 3 municipal partners are Ferguson, Half Moon, and Potter. And Center County has contributed or will contribute these amounts to farms in our participating municipalities. So we arrived at these figures by reviewing hard copy and electronic financial records for the PACE program since Center County preserved its first farm in 1991. For each municipality that is committed to contributing funds to preserve farms within their townships, we show their total payments made over the life of the program. And we've shared our findings with our municipal partners to show what each has contributed and how much Center County and the Commonwealth have invested in preserving farmland within those municipalities. This demonstrates how leveraged funds expand our resources to preserve farms and provides a blueprint for future strategic planning and promotion of farmland preservation opportunities. So one of the other requests that you had was if we could show how many farms we've preserved each decade. So our GIS director, Nick Barger, produced these maps for us. And you can see, it's interesting to see, you see a lot of them up in the Spring Township area, the Bellefonte area for that decade. And you see a few down in Ferguson. And then there you see primarily a concentration in Ferguson. I do want to commend Spring Township as well. We found that they contributed $85,000 during our first decade to preserve farms, not earmarked for any particular farm, but just in general because they supported the program. This is that decade, 2011 to 2020. You see again the concentration of farms in Ferguson Township. Ferguson Township, interestingly, is where we have half of our preserved farms. And then this is from 2021 to present. And then this is the map that I put on display there for you. So we have one more farm we're closing on this fall. It's the Leo and Bernard Coral Farm in Benner Township. And we are on track to have 10,000 preserved acres by the end of 2024.
That's a lot of acres.
It is.
A lot of acres, Diana. And we'd like to thank the volunteers on the board that supervises this. I think all three commissioners have served on that board at one point or another. So I'll hand it over to Commissioner Concepcion, who's our current representative.
Thanks for this. Could you explain for the audience what the importance is of an agricultural security area and why that is our focus for preservation?
Absolutely. Being enrolled in an agricultural security area is the minimum requirement that farmers who want to preserve their farms need to meet. Many landowners are in the ag security area, not necessarily to become preserved, but to protect their right to farm. They're protected from nuisance ordinances or lawsuits by neighbors, in terms of noise or odors. But they have to be, to meet this requirement for preservation, they have to be in 500 collective acres or more. Now, to establish an ASA only requires 250 collective acres. They also have to have an approved NRCS conservation plan. So the ag security area, we document their recorded enrollment. Usually a landowner, perhaps their parents, put the land in the ag security area years ago. It's completely voluntary. It's not done automatically by a township. The landowner has to voluntarily enroll or withdraw after a 7-year commitment.
It's really exciting to see how much this program has grown over the past decade. And that I think, it's just critical that we maintain our ability to grow food here in Center County and the work that is done by our farmers, that we're providing a means for them to, it's really a means of financing the continued production of their farms. So it's an important program, and there's a lot of community work that goes into this, in terms of the advisory board, and then your work certainly, and the work of various organizations within Center County government to work on making sure they have all of the technical advising that's part of this program. So, yeah, thank you.
Steve, I know you've had a long history with the program.
Well, I think the interesting part, again, we talk about collaboration, and and obviously here in Center County we have a lot of folks that work hard on this, but our state partners are pretty much they carry the heavy bucket of water of money for these programs, and they have to be all certified by the state. And I don't, do the feds have a piece of this as well?
They do for some farms. Yes.
So yeah, again, it's one of those collaborations, making sure that we express ourselves to our state and federal partners the importance. And I know Congressman Thompson sits on the actually chairs the Ag Committee in the U.S. House, so he appreciates what this is all about. But I think our state partners are really the ones here that we've relied on over the years to help. You know, we put what, $100,000 a year, but when you look at the number of preserved acres, that's millions and millions that have come from the state to preserve our farmlands as well. So we've taken advantage of the opportunities we had, and your hard work, the hard work of the board, preserving these farms. And I think years from now, the challenge is always to keep these farms active and vibrant, and that's always the concern. What's this land going to look like 100 years from now? But we're giving it the opportunity to have that chance of still being farmland in an age where development is very, very common. So we look at the quality of the soils and all the other opportunities that these farms present, and I think you've done a very good job, as your predecessors have, of making sure that we represent the very best farms in Center County for preservation and protection from development.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Diana. And great pictures, by the way.
Oh,
It's a
thank you.
beautiful, beautiful county, and you captured a lot of that in the shots. So we have in the ballpark of about 300 commercial-sized farms in Center County, and I think the overwhelming majority of our preserved farms and lands are commercial-size operations. So we're 64 out of 300 is a pretty good percentage. So, and we also, of course, appreciate the municipal partners for their contributions. And as Commissioner Dershowitz mentioned, the majority of this funding is state with some additional federal funds. We also work with a broad variety of conservation organizations too, and they help stretch the dollars even further, including Clearwater is one that comes to mind immediately.
Yes.
Yes.
very much so.
Great. Any questions from the press?
Is there still a waiting list of farms?
There is. We have an active waiting list of about 31 right now. And those would be active because they have met the minimum requirements. And then we annually evaluate those applicants so that every year they move up. We've been trying to do as many as 3 or 4 farms a year. So some of them are moving up more quickly than they expected.
Thank you.
Great
You're
question,
welcome.
Mary. Any other questions? No? Great. All right. Well, thank you so much for your presentation, Diana.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it,
Thank you.
and wanted to let the folks at home know the partnerships that the county's worked with as far back as 1991 to make 63 and soon 64 preserved lands happen. Thanks.
Absolutely. You're welcome. And thank you for all of your support for the program.
You're welcome. All right, we will, thanks again, Diana. We will move on to bids and proposals. Lee has one for snow removal, which up until a couple days ago didn't seem like we would need it, but now I think we do.
Let's cross our fingers. It'll be a while till we need it. So, we're asking for approval to advertise the request for proposal for the snow removal services. Depending on amounts of snow and events, this doesn't take our entire team. And should we be successful in finding an outside vendor that'll free up our staff to address issues within and around our facilities, and still be able to maintain our open walkways and things of that nature, entrances to our public buildings. So.
Thanks, Lee. Any questions on the snow removal?
Is this something that you have done annually, or is this a new practice?
So this is a new venture. The only thing we had in place prior to this was we had an overnight, but those folks have retired, and we sort of taken that on with our staff. But it's a big lift to be able to do that and maintain the facilities. Yeah.
We're still going to keep a plow on the truck just in case.
That is correct. Yeah.
All right.
Should we need it, we'll be available. But we'll be. The expectation will be, those folks will have our walkways and things clear, parking lots for public access.
Perfect.
In due time. So yep.
Great. I think we're ready for a motion then.
I will move to approve advertisement of the RFP for snow removal services.
I will second that.
We have a motion, a second. All those in favor of advertising the RFP for snow removal services, do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Great. Thanks, Lee.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And Now we have Dave, who I think, is it your Facebook birthday today?
I've heard that rumor.
Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that rumor. My granddaughter says that I have the greatest birthday ever. So, yep. No, that's okay. We're good. It's all good. Thank you, though. Thank you for having me. And I come and ask for consideration of approval of in-kind purchase of 3 vehicles from Penn State using in-kind funds. And they'll be put into our fleet to upgrade various departments that need that for moving forward. There's 3 vehicles, a 2016 Dodge Caravan, a 2018 Dodge Caravan, and a 2018 Ford Explorer. The total cost for in-kind would be $45,870, and that does include the fee that they charge. And then again, they would be placed into departments as needed. We have places to put those vehicles for sure. And that allows us to get ready for next year's auction that we just completed. So, and it was very successful, obviously. The second item, I bring Carrie and Brian with me because I can buy them the vehicle, but they know all the other questions that may be asked. But it's to consider approval of the purchase of a 2023 Ford F-250 Crew Cab 4x4 truck from Stuckey Ford out of Hollidaysburg through the state contract purchase system. And that would be placed in the position that's going to be coming up for the humane officer going forward. And that's going to be in the sheriff's department, as I'm told. The cost of that vehicle is $51,617. It is available. Will be available as soon as they get the recalls done. But the truck is readily available for our purchase. Probably in another 4 to 6 weeks we can take ownership of it and then start equipping it and preparing for the service going forward. To order a truck, you're looking at 6 to 8 months minimum. So, you know, we found this truck and looking, and it's pretty unique that there's one available, and it's spec'd out just about exactly what we needed. So I asked for approval of those 2 items today. I don't know if you have any questions for these 2, if you want them to say anything about the humane truck, but I just know I'm getting them a truck, and the rest is up to them.
That's all I know too, so.
I was going to say, Sheriff, could you tell us why we actually need like an F-250?
Yes, so.
Because we do have a lot of ag in the county. We just had a
We
presentation
do, so
on that.
we were tossing around what we wanted to get, and we thought 250, the F-250 was the best option to be able to haul around the trailer if we come across farm animals, cows, horses, things of that nature. We, in the process, we found the truck, about $25,000 less than we expected, maybe $30,000 less than we expected. Because new F-150s are bringing in $60,000, so this is an F-250 4-door. It's a big truck with a tow package. Has everything we need on it, so we thought it was just pull the plug now. Kind of working backwards, and we're going to get the humane officer trained this May. They only offer 1 training a year. Hopefully have it live. We're hoping June 1st. It may be July 1st, maybe August 1st, till everything comes together after the training and stuff. So we're pushing forward with it. But the trucks, we have a vast county. We have a big county, and it's a lot of agriculture, a lot of farms who may need our services at some point. So that's why we went with the F-250, so we can haul a trailer.
And Brian, the commissioners and the Court of Common Pleas judges very much appreciate your assistance.
Yeah.
With the humane officer, you solve a lot of issues because you have law enforcement jurisdiction in all 35 municipalities.
Right, in the whole county. So
Yeah.
we can cover a lot of ground, and I thought it was the best thing to run out of our office, and we all came to that conclusion. So with Carrie is doing all the legwork for us, and so we appreciate her help with everything. And Dave's ordering the truck, so we're plugging along and having meetings monthly about it. So we're excited to get it started. I know one of my deputies who wants to transition to this is excited to get moving. So we're on board with it.
We're very excited too. Commissioner Concepcion, anything you wanted to add?
So I think this is a good step forward for animal welfare in our county, and as well as safety for residents if they come across an animal that might be a hazard. So I appreciate your work on this.
Thank you.
Mr. Dershowitz, I know you've been involved in this for a long time.
Yeah, this is something that's a long time coming. We've been without a humane officer here, settled in Center County for a long time. We've had a great relationship with the Humane Society from Blair County, but this is going to put us kind of where we need to be because a lot of our local police departments, as we all well know, have calls almost daily and do not have the capability. And as we establish new relationships, going back to the collaboration idea, we're going to have to work with our local shelters and local farms to make sure that we have opportunities to place these animals, at least in temporary custody, while, to keep them safe and out of harm's way. But I think it's a step forward for us as a county to make sure that we have this particular law enforcement area covered. And I appreciate, Brian, your willingness to take this task on. And Carrie, you've carried the again the heavy water on this one because this.
No, but Steve's been instrumental as well, and we have formed a little task force, little team, and we've been working diligently on it. So I'm excited to get moving on it. It's just they only have one training, and that's 2 weeks in May, so we're kind of pigeonholed in by that. So, but other than that, we're excited. I appreciate the support. So.
Great. Any questions from the press on this?
Can you give a better idea of what exactly the duties of the humane officer will be then?
We're kind of working through that right now with, we're going to reach out to Blair County. Kind of have an idea. They'll be answering probably the major calls, not the barking dog ones that can be taken care of by local police, but we'll handle the stuff that may cause an investigation to occur, animal cruelty, cases of, whatever it may be, with different animals, from farming to cats and dogs. So that's our goal and our plan as of now. So it's still in the infancy phases of what we're going to do and getting policy written and stuff like that. So we'll plug along here and keep moving.
Gary, any other questions?
I wish I'd had a little heads up. I wouldn't have dressed like
Ah, well.
like a lumberjack with a vest on.
Yeah.
That's how. That's
Yes,
right. That's my
there you
Halloween
go.
outfit, so.
He's acting injured.
Yes.
No, he truly is.
Anything else? Or we good?
Well, thanks, Carrie and Sheriff and Dave. Unless there's any other questions, I think we'd take a motion.
I will move to approve transportation items 1 and 2.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the 2 items for transportation. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Great. Thanks, team.
Thank you.
And now we have Faith from Adult Services, who's also in costume.
Yes, I am. It's a very special day. Good morning.
Yes, morning.
So I'll be covering adult services and MHID today. So our only item for adult services is just a request to submit an application to the fiscal year 23 FAIR grant through PHFA, which is the Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency. This would be the continuation of our housing navigation program, and we would be asking for $30,000 again. We just actually started this program in our department. We've recently received the grant award from the fiscal year 22. And so it's really been giving us the ability to focus a little bit more on some education and outreach efforts. I know a lot of times when we talk about like housing and renter and homeowner needs, the conversation is so much surrounding how we keep people where they are currently, right? With housing stock being what it is and rentals being less available. And so this gives us the opportunity to continue that focus on building those relationships and then also providing education in the community, but also providing education to tenants on how to be a good tenant and what a lease actually means and how to read one, things of that nature.
Well,
That's it for adult services.
All right. Sounds good, Faith. Any questions from either commissioner on that one? No? All right.
I'll move to add the grant application for fiscal year 23 FAIR grant to next week's consent agenda.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of adding the grant application for the FAIR grant to next week's consent agenda, do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. All right, and Faith, then you have an item for MHIDEI, drug and alcohol.
Yep, so this is for early intervention. It's a letter of agreement with a new provider named Tiffany Zeigmont. She'll be providing speech therapy, early intervention services with a contract total of $14,000. The IFSP teaming part of the speech therapy is just so you're aware is when there's numerous professionals helping one child. So she's able to participate on that team if it's occupational therapy and speech, for example. This is a very high demand, as you may be aware of, especially as we become more and more aware of like the different types of needs that kiddos have when they're developing. So we're really excited to be able to add somebody else to the contract.
That's great. Well, we'll welcome Tiffany on board here in just a minute. Any questions, Commissioner Concepcion or Commissioner Dershowitz? No? All right. Take a motion then.
I will move to add the contract with Tiffany Zeigman to next week's consent agenda.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of adding the, excuse me, adding the contract with Tiffany Zeigman, do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay, motion carries. Great, thanks, Faith.
Thank you.
And we have a pretty short consent agenda.
I will move to approve this week's consent agenda.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving this week's consent agenda, do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay, motion carries. We'll now move on to authorities, boards, and commissions. We have an appointment of David Sexton Jr. to the Children and Youth Services Advisory Board. The appointment will be effective today and would run through October 30th of 2025. Unless there's any questions, we'll take a motion for that.
I will move to approve the ABC term appointment.
I will second that.
Motion and a second. All those in favor of approving the appointment to the excuse me, Children and Youth Services Advisory Board, do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay, motion carries. All right, now we'll move on to a CNET request that the commissioners have traditionally sponsored for a number of years. John's got this, I believe.
Yes, good morning. Before you for consideration is the CNET sponsorship request for the Center County Historical Society's 2023 John H. Ziegler Historic Preservation Awards Ceremony to be held on Sunday, January 21st, 2024 at 3 p.m. at the Match Factory. I believe this is the 35th annual award ceremony.
Well, always an interesting presentation. I've attended a number of them. Unless we've got any questions, we'll take a motion.
I will move to approve sponsorship of the CNET request from the Center County Historical Society.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the sponsorship of the CNET request. All those in favor, excuse me, do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Now we'll move on to Commissioner Concepcion with the check run.
Thank you. So the item I'd like to recognize in the check run today is we have payments to community members who are enrolled in the Family Caregiver Support Program. And that's a program through our Office of Aging that provides financial support for family members to be a caregiver to our elderly or aging community members. So with that, I would like to move that we approve the check run dated October 27th, 2023.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the October 27th check run. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. John, do we have an administrator's report?
Nothing to report at this time.
All right. Move on to our announcements. Commissioner Dershowitz has our last voter registration report before the election.
final one, yeah. The sum total of voter registration in Center County right now is 100,732, and that breaks down to 42,372 Democratic registrations, 137 Green Party, 604 Libertarian, 13,726 no affiliation, and 40,816 Republican voters. And when you add the 3,077 smaller parties, you get the 100,732 number. That's up 132 from last report. And the official last small party registration report for the pre-election is the Federalists. The Federalists have 3 registered voters in Center County, and we'd like to recognize them. And I also have the precinct report for the week, which is State College WC2 number 34, precinct number 34, which votes at the CBICC office in Fraser Street in State College. And in the roster, we have, in the last election, a total registered voter count of 1,022. There were 59 registered voters cast ballots, which led to a percentage ballot cast turnout of 5.77%. So we're hoping we might be able to get a little better number than that this next week. But I also like to note that today is the deadline to request the absentee ballot process if you're interested in voting not live next Tuesday. So today's the last day for the mail-in ballot deadline. So that's it.
Great, thanks, Steve. Obviously, that precinct you just mentioned is a heavily student precinct. Hopefully have a little better turnout here next week, Tuesday. As you mentioned, the deadline to request a mail-in ballot is today. You have until 5 at the elections office and a few minutes to midnight on the website. The ballot drop box locations will be closing on Monday, November 6th at 9 a.m. promptly. After that, you would have to either bring your mail-in ballot to the elections office in the Willowbank building during business hours, or you can show up to your polling place with your mail-in ballot, but you have to have the whole packet, except I think maybe the instructions. But you have to have the outer envelope, the inner security envelope, and your ballot in order to be able to cast in person. You can also do a provisional ballot as well, but that, of course, will delay the counting of your vote for at least a week, because we've got to get all the other paperwork done first. Anyone interested in becoming a poll worker or assisting with the counting of the absentee and mail-in ballots should contact the elections office at 814-355-6703. That's 814-355-6703. And if you can't do it this year, but you think you might be able to do it next year, please call. We're going to need you next year. Center County government offices will be closed on Friday, November 10th in observance of Veterans Day. And due to the municipal election, the Board of Commissioners meeting for next Tuesday, November 7th is canceled. John, do we have any executive sessions to report or hold?
No executive sessions to report or hold.
All right. We have the remainder of our public meeting schedule. We have a Board of Elections meeting today at 1. I think, are we ending up canceling our Thursday commissioner meeting? It's still on? Okay. So we will be meeting on Thursday, November 7th at 10 o'clock with the salary board meeting at the same time. And the Board of Elections will be testing the equipment used to tabulate the votes cast at 1 p.m. on Thursday, November 2nd. And then on Tuesday, November 7th, we have a Board of Elections meeting at 6 a.m. Those are always fun.
No, we.
Well, the Board of Elections will be
Yes.
meeting at 6 a.m. The commissioners don't have to be here for the 1 year out of 4. And then the Board of Commissioners meeting, of course, is canceled. And then the following Thursday, November 9th, combined Board of Commissioners and Salary Board meeting at 10 and Board of Elections meeting at 2. Any questions from the press? All right, great. Unless there's anything else for the good of the order, then we'll take a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion to second to adjourn at 11:03. All those in favor, do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. We are adjourned. Thanks.